So look, all this led to you writing the book and doing the book, and and I think it's interesting that obviously like there's a lot of big name comedians are sort of made to or advised to write books or have got on that
made to write books.
I think they are probably made to do it, but it's become really big business. But there are a lot of we had Beck Hill on recently, and my own wife Katie Wilkins. She won't use the name Herring.
Most people would say my wife rather than my own wife.
My own wife.
It just seems to emphasise ownership, and frankly, I'm uncomfortable with that, and I just want to distance myself from that verbiage.
Beck Hill she's not my own wife. She's everyone's.
She's everyone's wife.
That's what I was doing.
I don't know if I think we hold Beck Hill in common.
My wife. I am her husband. Let's say that. Examples of they've found funny. They've found funny people and said, write actually funny book and a comedy book, and it's good that that's happening because it's so easy for them to say, who's on TV, let's get them to, maybe write this book, or maybe let's give them a book they can say they wrote.
Yes, and so, well, of course, we would never imply that any comedian doesn't write their own books.
No, that would be terrible.
We would never say that.
And imagine having the time to do all the stuff on TV and write all those books as well. They must.
Whoever we're thinking of must be tired. So I did this. I started writing the book before I was on the television show Mock the Week that I destroyed. So I hadn't done any telly. So there was no chance of me being mistaken for a celebrity author, because you have to be a celebrity to be a celebrity author. But it is also a different thing. Like the celebrities' books come out at Christmas because they're famous, whereas I suppose real children's authors' books don't come out at that. And so I wanted to. I want to try and be a real children's author. I want to try and do it. Fortunately, I wasn't a celebrity, so I didn't have a choice about that. But I do feel a bit jammy because, unlike most debut children's authors, I do have thousands of social media followers. So it was. That said, that's not these days. Twitter, nobody reads Twitter, and I have got a moderate-sized YouTube. I think I have 250,000 YouTube subscribers.
Right.
Did the mics pick that up? But the thing is, they're all middle-aged Albanian men. So I can post to say I've got a book. I can post to say I'm going on tour. I posted to say I was going on tour, and someone replied saying, "Doing what?" So, what do you think this is? What do you think has been happening between us? Why do you subscribe? Sorry.
But,
That's what I said in reply.
But I think especially writing kids' books, obviously there are serious kids' books and there are adventure kids' books, but I'm sure, like me, I loved funny books as a kid, and I think most kids love funny books, and I think, most comedians will get what that level of funniness is, which I think, because it's a different thing than knowing what will make an adult laugh, what will make a kid laugh. It's a difficult thing. I think most people would struggle. Maybe a lot of comedians would struggle with that.
It's weird, and what's funny is we were just saying this before, but I think the kids often laugh at a funny idea more than they do a funny line. Like I think having sort of presented, sort of pitched the book at kids essentially. I sometimes go into schools with permission, and they ask you to do it. I don't just arrive with a big sack of books. To sort of, talk about what it means to solve a mystery, how do we, let's invent a detective together, that sort of thing. I think kids love to sit in a funny idea and be like, oh, wow, yeah, that's a funny idea. Rather than, I think a one-liner can be sort of too abrupt, too sharp for a child.
Yeah.
Like, if I do a gig for, I was about to say humans, I mean adults. If I was talking to humans, I do a joke where I mention the fact that I don't have eyebrows, and the audience notices that I don't have eyebrows, and then they laugh at the joke. It hasn't happened here. But that's fine. Too little, too late, sorry. And for the benefit of the listener, I do have eyebrows, but they're basically invisible. But the rest of my face is super hairy, so it's fine. But if I do that same joke for kids, they don't laugh. But then what I do at the end, I'll say, any questions? And you can ask me any questions. You can ask me about doing animation or books or why I don't have eyebrows. And I just include it in the list. And when they realise that they can make the joke theirs, after a few serious questions, someone will be like, where are your eyebrows? And I'll say I lost them on the way to the school. And then someone else will, and then they'll just keep asking me about and if they find it, the more annoyed I pretend to get, they find it hilarious to keep asking about the eyebrows, and they don't know that I set that whole thing up. I engineered that entire thing to give that to them. They have no idea.
So this is I underlined one of my favourite jokes. A couple of them, I found one of them. He wore shoes that clacked as he crossed the parquet floor, and one of those small triangular beards that make people worry the wearer is about to do a card trick.
I'm a huge fan of magic and conjuring, but the books contain a number of anti-magic jokes, and I don't know where it's come from.
It's good. It's a good joke, though. And this is the other one. Again, I like this because you sort of have to. You don't have to go back, but its octagonal walls were topped with nasty little spikes designed to make pigeons or anyone else think twice before having a poo. I think
I'm laughing at that. I wrote this 3 years ago. Can't remember any of this. It's like, that's pretty good.
But that's, my son at the moment, my son's just going through a period where, I don't know where he got this from, where he just thinks saying the word Willy is hilarious. Just endlessly saying the word Willy. I mean, I did go through a phase from about the age of 4 to now of thinking that too. But it's, but so anything with poo is going to work. But it's a lovely joke, and it's sort of a joke that you have to flip your head. You have to flip back to the poo bit.
Yeah. There's a little bit of poo in it, but it's not a poo heavy novel.
Well, no, it's because it's a genuine mystery, and you're very engaged with it. And what I find interesting is obviously like if you're aiming at 8 to 12-year-olds, and it is about a murder. It's not a murder. It's not a grisly murder.
Oh yeah, there's a real murder in it.
There's a murder.
That was my first question when I spoke to the publisher. Can you have murders in books? And she said yes, and I said right, I'll do it.
But I think, again, I remember as a kid the stories I was writing, the Thrilling Three, if people may remember from Collings and Herring, if they go back far enough, and as it occurs to me. That was about a group of, kids, of one of whom was based on me, solving murders, and like you don't know what, you don't really appreciate what a murder is. You just know it's an exciting thing to happen in a mystery. And but this book has a proper... I like that. It's got a proper story, and you've got suspects, and and there are clues. As though it's.
I mean, you are basically just describing what a mystery story is.
But
it's got pages,
it works.
Illustrations,
It works.
a typeface.
It works as a story.
It's got everything.
I learned something.
Oh?
I learned something reading your book about clues. Where the word clue comes from.
Oh yeah, it's got facts in it as well.
Yeah.
The word clue. Do you want to say it?
I would like you to tell people. It's going to blow their mind.
Well, I'm sure some people here know this is Norwich, but in Old English, so the word clue, meaning a fact in a mystery, comes from clue, C-L-E-W, meaning thread. So a clue is a thing you pull on, like you pull on a thread. So if you read anything from the olden days and you see a C-L-E-W, they're not talking about a mystery clue. They're talking about a piece of string.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more interesting in the book.
I think it's amazing.
Than it is to explain to a room full of adults.
I didn't know that, but I think that's, it's a great way the book's making you laugh, and you're learning something, and also you're pulled along in the story trying to work out who the murderer may be.
I'm glad my dad didn't finish it.
Did he die before he got to the end?
No.
Is this a way of saying he died?
Sadly, he's still alive.
Sadly.
My dad said, "Oh no, it's I got 150 pages in. It's not aimed at me, really, is it? I think it's for posh kids." That's what he said. I think it's for kids who go to private schools.
Oh. Put it on the cover.
But they do have more money, actually, the private school kids. So yeah, if you are a private school child, please buy my book.
I think any kid who likes comedy and
it's for the clever
I think
kids.
it is clever, but I think reading is increasingly for clever kids. Without this government, am I right? Yeah,
wait.
I turned it round.
I'm not clear if
I was just saying kids.
Were we enthusiastic about illiteracy there, or were we... Yeah, okay. The row 2 are really enthusiastic.
And so the second book, which I haven't read, but I have bought, and that's the important thing, right?
That is way more important to me.
Death at the Lighthouse. So
they don't have VAT on them, kids' books. So you're basically making money. Please buy them.
So they're more planned. It's going to be a series.
There will be. I agreed to it when I didn't realise how hard it was to write. So there's going to be 2 more, right. And I'm redrafting book 3, which is probably called something like Mystery at the Manor, because I want to move the characters through the sort of the stock locations that mystery stories have, because I think it's quite fun to try and do something which is simultaneously a parody of the genre, so doing a big old country house, and maybe the 4th one might be on a boat or something like that, but also an example of the thing itself, to try and do a proper mystery, but also spoof it at the same time. And also, I guess, because some kids might not have read a mystery story, just explain the conventions of the genre to them, so that they, explain how clues work and what denouements are.
Yes. Yeah, it's really great. I really enjoyed reading the one I read. So congratulations. Do buy the books. Very good Christmas gift. This podcast might go out after Christmas.
A fantastic Easter gift.
Lovely Valentine's gift for a child. If you want to.
If you've got a special child in your life. I'm not sure I'm happy with my books facilitating this sort of thing, but a sale is a sale, so...